plan worked out. 1 video a week. Earmark the time. Scripts written, cameras poised, everything ready. And I went to watch Justice League. It's January. I still haven't recovered. I don't want to bash Justice League. Well, I do, because I want my vengeance. But I'm going to resist, because I've been told that it will not heal the world. Save the cathartic benefits of sharing my pain with the equally disappointed, so we can become a Vengeance League. But there are some valuable lessons to be learned from Justice League about life and planning, and we can all take solace in the fact that even if you have millions and millions of dollars and teams of people all working on something, you can still mess it up just as easily as a solo youngster with precious little resource or funding. So here's 10 life lessons, and by life I mean sport, from Justice League. Number 1. You can't just throw a whole load of superpowers in a movie and think it will work just because you've aggregated abilities. And the same goes for training. All your training elements are like superpowers: strength, plyo, speed, technique, endurance, circuits. Yes, you can do them and improve them, but you need a narrative to tie them together. That narrative is an organizing force, a reason you're transitioning from one to another. If you just try to dial all these factors up to 10 and then unleash that beast on the track, you may create a monster. Or it might just be monstrous. Number 2, evaluate your performance sensibly. Man of Steel equals Iron Man, not Avengers. When you're trying to assess your performance, look at the correct yardstick. If they'd looked at Man of Steel as the equivalent in foundation to the first Iron Man film in the MCU, then they wouldn't have had this feeling of underperforming. They were setting up a new Superman in a new universe. They were deliberately trying to differentiate from the old Superman. But they expected to leverage off the goodwill bank of the old Superman. So why in the name of Jor-El's jockstrap were they comparing it to the 5th film of another franchise? When you look at your performance in competition, analyze it correctly. What is the percentage you've performed of your current maximum? Do the math. Where you come in the race is irrelevant because you don't control others' performance, only your own. Don't compare to the mythical you from an alternate universe that you think should have been able to carve off a big chunk of time. If you must compare, then align to you at an earlier time in your life in the same position. And if you absolutely have to compare to others, then compare to someone with a very similar starting place who has done the same work. Don't compare to others who are way down the line and advanced. But know this, comparison is a slippery slope to envy. Number 3, build, develop, transition. Don't do one misstep and then double down due to pride. For BVS to work, it needed much more development and probably 1 to 2 other films. In track, if you write the training and you don't hit the goal, don't double down on the training. The simple rule is your body is always right. The plan is wrong. So sit down and rethink the plan. Analyze where it's gone wrong. Look and see where it was going right. Then see what day did it go wrong. Rewind 2 days and adjust at that point. Training is stepping stones. Too big a jump and you're going to fall. Take the wrong fork and you'll end up not arriving at your destination. Go too fast and you'll get a ticket. Or potentially shot in the face, depending on which country you live in. You want smooth transitions from strength to power to speed. Number 4, analyze negative feedback logically. Yeah, DCU is just too dark. I mean, audiences don't want dark, serious films. Really? Well, what about The Dark Knight Rises? Nah, ignore it. Those days are over. Fair income? How about Logan? It was just last year. No, because, well, aesthetic and appropriate conclusion to a trilogy and obviously Fox Studios. Fox Studios. Analyse your performance and your journey logically, not emotionally. Now, the pain of loss is going to cause anxiety, which is going to distort your perception. You won't see clearly. But think, is it really more likely that you underperformed because you missed a strength target by 5%? Or a running session by a slither of time? Or there are others out there lifting, jumping and sprinting with your values that outperform you? If there are, then that's probably not the issue. Going for the easy answers is the easiest way to make easy mistakes. Eventually, the answers will be simple, but that's just because you found the right lens to analyze them. Then it's obvious, but it takes time, requires logical analysis to get that lens. And remember, simple is not the same as easy. Number 5, stop copying Marvel. Play to your strengths and improve your weaknesses. Your strengths are character recognition and stories. Your weakness is screenplay writing and character development for your films. Now this may sound like number 2, and it probably is, but I wanted 10 things on my list, alright? And I'm not done with this point. There's a train of thought that if you want the best results, you have to copy the methods of the best. This can be true at times and in parts, but if you copy those at the top, you're copying the end point of their evolution at the start point of your own. You are missing the transition phases. Analyze your strengths and play to them. But more important, plug your weaknesses. Copying others doesn't guarantee that you provide the help to your particular weaknesses. And the fastest way to improve is to improve a weakness. Because we're only as good as our limiting factor, copying the best won't normally tailor to your limiting factor. Number 6, take your time. Don't rush. Produce quality. Now, I've heard of a fake moustache. I mean, that's a thing. There's spies, and I think Jim Carrey uses them. But there's no such thing as a fake upper lip. Now, the guy has a first-class filtrum of his own that was doing a great job. There is no reasonable excuse for this digitally produced sneer. When you rush your training and go to competition with your gains still being rendered, or worse still, you haven't even made any gains, you might as well be turning up looking like this. Now, there are times when you have to compete. You don't have a choice. In those cases, keep the moustache and put a fake beard on. You've been dead. Ish, but not really, for 18 months. Better to go out looking like a hobo. Mullet hair and a beard. Then fly back to Kansas, take a shave, and get your mum to cut your hair. Then at least she has a reason to be in the film. That's alright, I digress. So I'm saying, if you have to compete, but you're not ready, have the psychology of the wanderer. The man who chooses to not have a home, like Kane in Kung Fu, rather than the homeless man. Banish expectation. Expectation will only lead to suffering. If you choose to compete without adequate preparation, be happy with the result because you chose it. Number 7, Warner Brothers. Don't be motivated by just money. Yes, it's a business, but the money will come. Make decisions based on the quality of the product. If it's well received, you'll make bank. And the same for training. You are the product. If the product, you, is good, the victories will come. But turning up half-baked because a competition happens to be then, and hoping that something good's going to happen, just isn't sensible. Hope is not a strategy. Number 8, you don't have to release your film on a certain day if it's not ready. Just push it back. Is the deadline really the deadline? Is there really any death lurking in any part of this line? Do you have to? what happens if you don't? In most cases, better to put your best foot forward than proceed with a poor hand. That's a limb metaphor. Because you can't bluff in a race. Number 9. Don't try to bolt two conflicting styles onto each other. Blend them. It works if it's Whedon and Snyder together from the beginning collaborating. And Whedon is a better storyteller and does character better. Snyder is better visually. Blend them, you have gold. But sections of Snyder, followed by wedges of Whedon, ends up as a Frankensteinian mess. Thanks, Andre, for that pronunciation. This is the same with training. Blend elements. Don't bolt. Everything you do in training should complement something else in training. This helps make that better. Balance and harmony in the plan leads to a better result. If you've got elements that don't mesh, no matter how good they are by themselves, leave them out. Swimming is great, but it's only any good if it blends with the program. Doing it because it's good by itself, just a waste of resource. A long run is great, but only if it aids in the program. If it's an appendage just because, then you're creating an abomination. Number 10, understand your characters. Batman is not comic relief. Well, not with that art from BVS. Superman is weights. Wonder Woman is plyo. Flash, he's speed. Cyborg, technique. Aquaman, endurance. Batman is circuits. This means understand the characteristics of your training. Don't just think exercises. Think purpose. That's what determines characteristics. So for Batman, understand the characteristics of circuits. If you've done these 20 exercises in another phase for 20 seconds on medium power with the intention of doing them in the next phase as high intensity 6 reps of jet-fueled explosiveness, don't suddenly make your circuits a bit of a low intensity muckabout like some kind of Richard Simmons aerobics class. Training is a transfer of skills through different mediums. And number... Damn, I didn't need to do that at the point. Alright, number 10, part B. They did the work for a 3-hour film and then released a substandard 2-hour film. Don't cut runtime to make a 2-hour movie when it needs to be 3 hours. Money is a side effect to a good product. The reason for the film, though, is to make art, which is entertainment. The side effect of good entertainment is more money. But if you hoodwink people with a bad product, they may be fooled once, hopefully not twice. You cut BVS and it cost you goodwill. You then did the same thing again, and this time the con got out via the reviews and it cost you dollars. It's the same for training. If you've done the work that needs 3 days off, take 3 days off. Don't take 2. Cut recovery, cut improvement. Less improvement means you're a substandard product. Now your chances of victory go down. Now a WB executive would try to increase chances of victory by going out to lots of competitions to make up for it. But numerous competitions don't increase chances of victory because victory lies in quality. Lots of competitions just means you lose a lot. The Warner Brethren took the justice out of Justice League and ended up creating a pitiful mess that didn't inspire and lacked the amazement it could have had it been done at the right time and in the right way. Don't let your training go the way of Justice League. But if it has, at least it didn't cost you 300 million. I hope it hasn't cost you 300 million. I mean, if it has, you need to renegotiate your gym pass and your track fees. Like that will. It's a lot of protein shakes. I hope this helps. Hit the thumbs up and double tap the bell icon like some kind of Black Ops killer. Because let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel good. Whatever you say in the comments, babe. But say nothing nice about Justice League, because I need to maintain that as an echo chamber. And if you like my vibe, please subscribe. That could be an expression from now on. You know, how'd your season go?